Back in the islands, the 2025 legislative session comes to an end this week with some major bills making their way through. Joining us now is Governor Josh Green. Aloha and good morning, Governor.
Aloha.
Thanks for stopping by with us. So we spoke to Nadine Nakamura, the House Speaker, before the legislative session. She said some of the major goals, of course, cost of living, and with that comes housing. How do you feel the legislature did?
Very well, actually. Kudos to the Speaker and Senate President and all of their teams. Big things happened. I mean, huge things happened. They appropriated $481 million for housing, plus another $88.2 million for Kauhale. That's an enormous need, and we all know if we solve our housing and homeless crises, we've done much of the work that the people have asked us to do. Other huge pieces of legislation are poised to pass also. The green fee, which we've talked about now for 2 years. This is going to be a tax on hotels, right? Or a tax on people that go stay at hotels of an increase of 0.75%. So that's like, would be about $4 on a room that costs $500 a night. That will help us pay for all of the climate impact that the 10 million visitors come and cause. So it's a very big deal. We'll be the first state in the country to do it. We need these dollars to help replenish our beaches, fix our baths, do fire breaks, have a stabilizing effect on the insurance market after the wildfires. It will bring, like I said, over $100 million to us every year. Plus, for every $4.5 million that we bond, we can get $100 million of projects out of it if we need them. Say, for example, if we had a terrible hurricane that took out part of Waikiki, I could quickly fix it because we'll have these dollars. So that's another huge piece of legislation. It's completely historic, and I'm really grateful to all the legislators, but particularly the Speaker and Senate President. One
of the other bills making its way through the legislature is an assault rifles ban. We are one of the safest gun states in the country. What do you make of this bill?
Well, again, the judiciary chairs, in this case it's Rhodes and Tarnas, plus all of their committees have done something extraordinary. We want to be safe. What they've done is they've put major restrictions on ghost guns, which is a bill I've already signed, and now on assault weapons. And so we can't have these huge cartridges with, dozens and dozens of rounds. It's a big deal. As an ER doctor, I can tell you when an assault weapon is shot at somebody and it hits some poor innocent individual, well, it kills them, it destroys them. It's so tragic to see this kind of gun violence across America that I'm completely thankful to Senator Rhodes and Representative Tarnas and all the people that put their necks on the line to do these bans. Look, I know that there has to be a balance on gun carrying rights and so on, but we do not need these powerful semi-automatic weapons walking around the streets of Hawaii. Even hunters know that they don't need huge numbers of cartridges. So I'm really grateful to them. It's showing Hawaii lead for safety. And I can't say enough about Senator Rhodes and how he's been year after year after year fighting for this.
Another thing that is going through the legislature, more money for Kauhale. What do you think this can do for Kauhale? What do you think that can do for other residents that might not be too concerned about just the homeless population?
Well, just so people remember, I made a commitment to cut homelessness in half over our 4 years and more years beyond if I'm given those years to serve. What this does is it funds us up to 30 Kauhale. We are at 22 or so right now, 22 Kauhale. This will get us up to 1,500 beds to get people with chronic health issues, mental health care concerns, drug addiction off the street if they're homeless. Remember that the average spend is $82,000 per person per year if they've got mental illness and addiction. It drops by 73% if we get them into a Kauhale unit. So we save money. I anticipate us saving 3 to 4 times that appropriation. So next year we'll be diving deep into this data to show that we can bring $300 or $400 million back to the Medicaid plan so that we have more resources. Meanwhile, the feds are cutting some of our resources, so I'm being very careful. But the way to look at Kauhale is it decreases human suffering, gets the homeless off the street, but it also decreases the cost to society. And the final benefit is sometimes there is violence in the streets because people are really struggling with trauma, with head injuries, with their addiction. We want to protect people because we've had some tragedies in that area. So Kauhale is, almost as historic a change as the green fee is. And so I'm proud of Hawaii. I'm proud of the legislators for going out on a limb. And these are tough times because, as you know, we're looking at very steep cuts in the workforce. We're hiring people with our Hire Hawaii program. We want to care for our local people. So we're taking a little bit of a cautious tact on the budget. The legislature kept about $200 million, maybe $250 million aside just in case, and then we'll come back in the fall if we need to when the federal cuts come in. We also still have over $1.6 billion in our rainy day fund, and I will work very closely with the legislature if we need to make sure that Hawaii is able to keep all of our people working. You saw a lot of cuts at the university. Over $45 million of cuts in research grants. I don't want any people who are working to have to become unemployed. So we will look at that also. We have excellent education chairs. They are working closely with the president of the university. So everything has to be fortified so that we can kind of weather what is a very stormy, at least first 2 years of this new administration. We have the capacity because we've been careful with our rainy day funds, but the big large changes in policy match the tax break, which we saw, the $7 billion tax break, which lowers the cost of living. Families are coming back now. Kids are coming back to Hawaii, which you guys have reported on. The green fee, which makes us a leader nationally, and the Kauhale. All these things, I think, demonstrate Hawaii's values. But I'm thankful for other people trusting, because some of these were big asks from a policy standpoint when I came in.
One of the aspects of the green fee that we talked about is creating fire breaks. Now, we've seen what has happened. You've had to navigate $800 million in the lawsuit. A lot of people have brought up, should fossil fuel companies be held liable for what happens with climate change-related disasters and then the insurance rates that we've seen? Do you think that's something that fossil fuel companies should also have to pay for?
They should. They should have to contribute. So just so everyone knows, I guess this might be breaking news, we will be filing suit, I believe, on Thursday against the fossil fuel companies. They have to pay their share because climate change and the climate impact is definitely connected to generations of extra fossil fuel that's been burned. The Maui wildfire, which took 102 of our loved ones, which ultimately cost at least the taxpayers in Hawaii well over $1 billion, including the $807 million we appropriated to help people heal, to do the settlements. We did the settlements inside of a year. Normally it takes 5 years. But all of that resource was not easy to find. We in Hawaii heal one another. This is our value. But frankly, fossil fuels deserve to pay their share. We have about $2 billion that HECO is paying. KS and Hawaii and the state are each paying over $800 million. Telecom is paying also from the tragedy so that we can recover. And we were able to weather all of those costs, but it would have been nice to have a couple billion extra dollars from the fossil fuel companies. And I will be negotiating that over time. It's just the right thing to do. And that's why we have this very small increase in fees on travelers. They're going to embrace that because they know that they're protecting Hawaii's future. Imagine if we had those fire breaks up before the wildfire occurred on August 8th, 2023. We wouldn't have had this $13 billion disaster. We wouldn't have lost our loved ones. So there's a lot of method to this madness. And I hope people can take a deep breath, because I know it's been 2 years of really rigorous activity as we've dealt with these crises, but I really see Hawaii on the right path now. Just know that I'm going to help us weather the chaos out of Washington, D.C.
Governor Green, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Aloha.